created by the Jews circa 160 AD as part of their anti-Christian revisions to Scripture to oppose the idea that Jesus was a Messianic type of Melchizedek as described in the New Testament book of Hebrews. I want to circle back to the Mormon religion, since I was born and raised as an active Latter-day Saint. Let's talk about the Mormons' founding prophet, Joseph Smith, and his ties to the Jewish Kabbalah. It is well documented that Joseph was born into a highly occultic family that practiced ceremonial magic and necromancy within treasure digging and glass looking. I thank God I left the church before I ended up ever participating in the Mormon Temple Endowment Ceremony, which founder Joseph Smith plagiarized from Luciferian Freemasonic rituals he learned upon becoming a Freemason himself. Upon further digging, we learn that Joseph Smith became obsessed with learning the occultic language of modern Hebrew. Journalist Tamar Fox writes in an article, in his journal, Joseph Smith wrote, "It seems as if the Lord opened our minds in a marvelous manner to understand His word in the original language." Side note, it's quite the deception, isn't it, that everyone has been bamboozled into thinking that modern Hebrew is a God-breathed, ancient, true language of the Bible, when in fact, it's a medieval engineered language of the children of Satan, which makes sense when you take into account that modern Hebrew is revered and used heavily in the occult and specifically in the conjuring of demonic forces. In the biography of Joseph's wife, Emma Smith, authors Newell and Avery explain, through Alexander Nebar, Joseph Smith had access to ancient Jewish rites called Kabbalism. At the same time, he claimed to be translating the papyri from the Egyptian mummies, which became his Book of Abraham. Joseph Smith also apparently possessed a collection of original Jewish Kabbalistic works in Nauvoo, a city which he named after a word he found in his Hebrew grammar studies. Here's a clip of hidden camera footage of the highly secretive Mormon Temple Endowment Ceremony, which is an essential ritual for the salvation of Mormons within their doctrine of eternal progression into exaltation, also known as apotheosis in Freemasonry.
We will now make the sign of the second token of the Melchizedek priesthood. This is done by raising both hands high above the head, and while lowering the hand, repeating 3 times the words, "O God, hear the words of my mouth. O God, hear the words of my mouth. O God, hear the words of